Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Pharma Researcher. So this is a video number 3 for Telangana Pharmacist Grade-II exam preparation, which is going to be held on the 30th of November 2024. And this is a new series on our YouTube channel Pharma Researcher, in which we are discussing the topic-wise MCQ questions from different 10 units which are mentioned in the syllabus from this notification. So today we are going to start with the unit number 2, which is regarding the anatomy and physiology. Before that, we have already discussed and completed the unit number 1, which is completed in 2 parts. The link for those videos has been provided for you in the description box, or you can simply go to the channel's description box channel, and you can simply find out a playlist in the playlist section, where you will find the playlist naming Telangana Pharmacist Grade 2 exam preparation. In that playlist you will be finding all the relevant videos regarding this particular series. So in today's video, I'm going to discuss with you the anatomy and physiology MCQ questions from different subtopics like skeletal system, cardiovascular system, Haemopoietic system, respiratory, urinary, and muscular system. So these different topics will be covered in this particular video. If you want the PDF of the questions discussed in this particular video, you can simply check out the description of the video, and there you will find the PDF link. You can simply open the PDF link and download and keep it with you. So let's start with this video. So first I'm going to discuss, like, this is a part number 1 for unit 2 specifically, and this is a third video for this particular series. The date of exam is 30th of November 2024, and in unit these different topics has been mentioned in the syllabus. So in anatomy and physiology, skeletal system, cardiovascular system, Haemopoietic, respiratory, urinary system, muscular system. Till this point, we are going to discuss the MCQ questions in this particular video, and the remaining central nervous system, autonomic nervous system, sensory organs, digestive system, endocrine system, and reproductive system. These will be covered in the next video. So let's start with the first question, and also do share this video with your friends whosoever is preparing for this particular exam, so that they can also get benefited from this particular series. So let's start with the first question, which is from the skeletal system. So the question is, which of the following cells in bone tissue functions in resorption? So there are different cells present in the bone tissue. So, and these different cells have different functions. So osteoprogenitor cells, osteoblasts, osteocytes, osteoclasts, these all are the cells in the bone tissue. This osteoprogenitor cells, this basically develops into the osteoblast, and then this osteoblast will form the bone extracellular matrix. Bone extracellular matrix is formed from this osteoblast cells. Then these osteocytes are used for maintaining the bone tissue, and these osteoclast cells are basically functions in resorption. In resorption, that is, they simply break down the bone extracellular matrix. So these are the different cells that are present in bone tissue, and the cell which functions in resorption is osteoclast. So here option D will be the correct answer. The next question is, which of the following is a transparent tissue? So there are different tissues: fibrous cartilage, hyaline cartilage, tendon, ligaments. So the transparent tissue is the hyaline cartilage. So here option B is correct. Basically, it is known as transparent tissue as it consists of a clear and slightly elastic matrix. Okay, so what it has: clear and a slightly elastic matrix which is having less fibers. So that's why it is known as transparent tissue. Now if I'll talk about the fibrous cartilage, so fibrous cartilage are very strong, and they are predominantly found in the intervertebral disc. Where they are found in the intervertebral disc. These information you can also keep with you of the spine, and also at the insertion of ligaments and tendons. Then if I'll talk about tendons and ligaments, so basically these are the connective tissues, and the difference you must need to know. So for tendons are basically connecting the muscle to bone. Okay, if muscle to bone are connected by tendons, and bone to bone are attached by ligaments. So these both are the connective tissue. Tendon basically connects the muscle to bone, and ligaments connects the bone to bone. So these 2 points are also important. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which mineral helps in to strengthen bone extracellular matrix? So which mineral is used for the strengthening of the bone extracellular matrix? So this mineral is fluoride. So here option C is correct. If I'll talk about the calcium and phosphorus, so they are basically used to make the bone extracellular matrix. Okay, so for the formation or for the making of bone extracellular matrix hard, so that is the work of calcium and phosphorus. If I'll talk about the magnesium, so magnesium basically helps form bone extracellular matrix. Okay, so they are basically helps to make the bone extracellular matrix, and these are making bone extracellular matrix hard, calcium and phosphorus. Then if I'll talk about the manganese, so manganese basically it activates the enzymes. It basically activates the enzymes which are involved in the synthesis of bone extracellular matrix. So these are the different minerals which affect the bone growth, or which are involved in the bone growth. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which of these is not an axial skeleton bone? Okay, so axial skeleton bone, if I'll simply make a very rough diagram. So here this is the body, and these are the legs, these are the arms. So what is axial skeleton? So basically our skeleton is divided into two parts. One is axial skeleton, another one is appendicular skeleton. And all the distribution of the bones, I will be providing you a chart where you can find all these distribution of the bones. So here I'll simply tell you, like, the axial skeleton bones are these, like, which are coming in these straight axis. Then the appendicular ones are like the arms, from shoulder to hands, from thighs to foots. So these are the appendicular. So those bones which are in line in the axis of our body, so these are the axial skeleton bone. So if you can see, like, cranium, ethmoid, sacrum, so these bones are in our axis. So these are the axial skeleton bones. But humerus is the largest bone in the upper body, which is in the arms. So it is the appendicular skeleton bone. So here option D will be the correct answer. Then coming to next question. So the question is, the first cervical vertebra is called. So first cervical vertebra is known as atlas. So here option D is correct. So basically in a human vertebrae there are multiple bones. Okay, so there is a cervical vertebra, there is thoracic vertebra, and there is lumbar vertebra. So in cervical vertebra there are total 7 vertebrae. In thoracic there are 12 vertebrae, and in lumbar there are 5 vertebrae. So this is the specific distribution. Now if I'll talk about other, so then there is a sacrum and coccyx. Sacrum is a bone having 5 fused bones, and coccyx is having 4 fused bones. So this is a proper distribution of your vertebral column. So if talking about the names only, so the first cervical vertebra, it has a name which is atlas, and there is also the second cervical vertebrae. It is also having the name that is axis. So these two names you must need to know, and the number of vertebrae present in each section of the vertebral column. Like I have told you, in cervical vertebrae there are 7 vertebrae. In thoracic there are 12, and in lumbar there are 5. Then we can move to the next question. So the question is, which one of the following is a bone that is embedded within a tendon? So we need to find out the bone which is embedded within a tendon. So this one is sesamoid. So here option D is correct. So basically sesamoid is a very small bone that is commonly found embedded within a muscle or tendon near joint surfaces. For example, if I can say like the patella, foot and hand. So these are the examples of sesamoid bones. Then coming to next question. So the question is, where is a ball and a socket joint found? So ball and socket joint, basically what is ball and socket joint? So there will be a uh, ball, there will be a ball and there will be a socket type thing. So this ball is held in the socket and it will rotate in this particular socket. So if you can see, or if you can observe in your shoulder, like there is a socket in your shoulder, and that arm bone is like a ball which is held in that socket, and you can easily move your arm in each and every direction mostly. So these type of bones are ball and socket bones which are present in shoulder. So option A is correct. Then next question is, which organ system is responsible for supporting the body, protecting internal organs and facilitating movement? So the organ system which is responsible for the support of body, protection of internal organs and facilitating movements, like we can move in different directions. So these are the skeletal muscles. So here option D is correct. Next question is, which of the following elements is used for contraction of muscles? So muscle contraction is involved with calcium ions. So here option C is correct. If I'll talk about Na2 positive ions, so these are basically involved in depolarization. These are basically involved in depolarization. If I'll talk about chlorine ions, so they are basically involved in repolarization. Repolarization. Then so these are the main ions which are responsible for several works. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which of the following bones is part of the cranium? So the part of cranium is occipital bones. So these are the part of cranium. Mandible, this is basically your facial bones. Hyoid bone is basically present in the neck, and the carpals are basically the wrist bones. So these are the different body part bones. So again, I'll be telling you, like at the end of this particular topic, skeletal muscle, I will be providing you a chart from a book which is giving you the distribution of different bones present in our body. Then coming to next question. So the question is, how many coccygeal vertebrae fuse to form coccyx bone? So in our vertebral column there is different columns like cervical vertebrae, thoracic vertebrae and lumbar vertebrae that I have told you. And after that I have told you, like there is a sacrum bone and there is a coccygeal bones. So in sacrum bones it is a 5 bone fuse to form a sacrum bone, and there are 4 fused bones which will form coccyx bone. So here answer will be option number A. Next question is, what is funny bone? So what is funny bone? Funny bone is simply a nerve. It is not actually a bone. It is simply a nerve which is present in the humerus bone. Okay, which is the arm bone. Then coming to next question. So the question is, the upper limb consists of how many bones? So the upper limb means your upper arms, both arms. So these consist of total 60 bones. So here option D will be the correct answer. Basically, our appendicular skeleton, which consists of arms and the legs part. So there are total 126 bones in the appendicular skeleton, and in the axial skeleton there are total 80 bones. Okay, so these are the basically distribution. So in upper limb, only upper limb, we have 60 bones. And also, if I'll talk you about the lower limb, so lower limb also consists of 60 bones. Then there are pectoral 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 girdles, pectoral girdles. So there are four bones in pectoral girdles. Then there is pelvic girdle, or simply pelvis. So there are two bones. So this will make up the total of 126 bones in the appendicular skeleton. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which ankle bone articulates with fibula to form ankle joint? So basically, in this question, the ask is the ankle bone articulate we need to find with fistula which form ankle joint. So this one is the talus bones. So here option B is correct. So basically, the talus is present in the foot part, the joining of the ankle, basically. So this is the talus bone. Next question is, stapes is which type of bone? So stapes is the smallest bone. It is the smallest bone of the body which is present in the middle ear, and stapes is also known as stirrup type bone. Okay, so it is a stirrup type of bone. If I'll talk about the longest bone, so longest and strongest both. So it is the femur, which is present in the thigh, and also the longest bone, if someone has specifically asked like longest bone in the upper body. So in the upper body it is the humerus, which is present in the arm. Then if I'll talk about bone, funny bone, so this we have already discussed. Funny bone is not actually a bone, it is a nerve which is basically present in humerus. Then the strongest bone of man, it is also the femur only. Then next question is, which of these are the point of contact between bones and cartilage? So between bones and cartilage, the point of contact is joints. So here option C is correct. Next question is, which of these structures has alternate dark and light bands on it? So the structures which are having dark and light bands on it are myofibrils. So here option C will be the correct answer. So basically, each muscle cell or muscle fiber contains filaments in its sarcoplasm area, sarcoplasm part, which are arranged in parallel manners, and these filaments are known as myofibrils, and they have alternate dark and light bands. So basically, the main function of these myofibrils is to produce muscle contraction muscle contraction and relaxation. So this is the main work of these filaments. If I'll talk about fascicles, so fascicles are basically when a group of muscle fiber is bundled. Okay, when a group of muscle fiber is bundled as a unit, okay, it is bundled and it will become a single unit. Then this is known as the fascicle. Then if I'll talk about sarcolemma, so sarcolemma is basically the plasma membrane. It is basically the plasma membrane of the muscle cell. Of what? It is a plasma membrane of the muscle cell, and it is basically surrounded by a basement membrane. It is surrounded by basement membrane and endomycelial connective tissue. Basically, it is surrounded by connective tissue and basement membrane. Then, if I'll talk about the fascia, so fascia is basically a thin casing of connective tissue that surrounds and holds every organ. ठीक है, It surrounds every organ, blood vessels, bone, nerve fiber, and muscles in place. So this is basically a casing type of thing, fascia. Then we can move to the next question. So the question is, freely movable joints are known as. So freely movable joints, these are known as synovial joints. So here option D will be the correct answer. So basically, if I'll talk about simply joints, so joints are basically of three types. These are of three types. What three types? The first one is fixed joints, fixed, or we can say fibrous joints. So what are these fibrous joints? So fibrous joints are basically the synovial cavity and ligaments are absent in this, and they are simply fixed by the sutures. Okay, so if you have seen our skull, so there is no movement between the joints. So these are the fixed joints. Our cranium is made up of different bones, but these are joined via sutures. So we cannot move our half part of the skull, like cranium. So these are the fixed bones. Then in joints, the second type is cartilaginous. Second type is cartilaginous or slightly movable, or we can say slightly movable. So basically these bones are separated by cartilage, as the name suggests. These bones are separated by cartilage, but synovial cavity is absent. Synovial cavity is absent. So synovial cavity is basically absent in both fixed and cartilaginous joints. So these are basically the properties, and you can say, if you want to check the examples, so you can check, like these are the your ribs part. These are the cartilaginous joints. Then the third type is the synovial joints, or we can say freely movable joints. Synovial joints are freely movable. So these are the perfect joints, and these allow free movements in one or more directions. So every joints, like we have discussed earlier, like the wall and socket joint that is in the shoulder, in your legs. So whatever joints which is helps in moving in different direction, that is a freely movable joint. Now we can move to the next question. So the question is, which of the following is moving skull bone? So in skull bone, there is only a single, only part of the skull that can move is mandible, that is present in the jaw. So here option B is the correct answer. For femur, we have already discussed multiple times. It is the largest bone in the body and the strongest bone in the body, is present in the thigh. Atlas is the first cervical vertebrae. Tibia is the bone that forms the shin part of the leg. Shin part, that is lower part of the leg. Then moving to next question. So the question is, which bone links the cranial and facial bone? So the bone which links the cranial and facial bone is sphenoid bone. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, which of these joints do not show any movement? So the joints which do not show any movement are fibrous joints or fixed joints. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, how many bones are there in human spinal column? In human spinal column, how many bones are there? So in spinal column, there are total 26 bones, you can say, in an adult. But if you can see option 33, 32, 31, and 30. So there are 33 bones are there in human spinal column, and these 33 bones are present in a child. If asked for adults, then it will be 26 bones only. And the distribution I have already shown you, like the cervical part is having 7, thoracic part is having 12, lumbar part is having 5, and one bone is sacrum, which is a 5 bone fused bone, and one is coccygeal, which is formed from a 4 fused bones. Then coming to next question. So the question is the ribs, the sternum, the scapula are all what type of bones? So ribs, sternum, scapula, these are the type of flat bones. So here option B will be the correct answer. So there are basically different types of bone: long bones, flat bones, short bones, irregular bones. I'll be explaining you in the further question regarding these type of bones. Next question is which of the following bones listed is an example of short bone? So the example of short bone is carpals, which are present in the wrist. So here option C is correct. Next question is which of the following bone is not paired? So palatine, maxilla, nasal, these three bones are basically present as a pair of two. Okay, so two palatine bones, two maxilla, two nasal, but bomber, which is present in the nose part, so this is not a paired one, this is a single bone present in the facial part. Next question is which of these is a contractile protein of muscle? The contractile protein of muscle is myosin. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is intracellular fluid between the myofibrils is. So myofibrils, we have a detailed discussion on that. So myofibrils, in myofibrils, the intracellular fluid present is sarcoplasm. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is the length of myosin filament is. So the length of myosin filament is basically around 1.6 micrometer. So here option A is correct. Next question is which of the following cells are responsible for secretion of collagen fiber in the bone tissue? So the cells that are responsible for secretion of collagen fiber in the bone tissue is fibroblasts. So here option D is correct. The next question is how many parietal bones are there in the cranium? So in cranium there are a total 8 bones, and the number of parietal bones present are 2. So here option C is correct. So the different cranial bones are like the facial, there are cranium bones, there are facial bones. So different, like there is frontal bones, these basically forms the forehead, the roof of the orbits, and most of the anterior part of the cranial floor. Then there is parietal bones that are 2 in number. Then there are the temporal bones. These are basically form the inferior. These are also temporal bones are also paired ones, and they form the inferior lateral aspects of the cranium and part of the cranium floor. Then there is occipital bones. Occipital bones are there. Then there are sphenoid bones, and there is ethmoid bones. So these different bones are present in the cranium part. Then moving to the next question. So the question is how many facial bones does the skull possess? So in our skull, how many facial bones are there? So there are a total of 14 facial bones. So here option D will be the correct answer. 14 facial, 8 are cranium bones. Next question is which of the following is a U-shaped bones? So U-shaped bones is hyoid bone, which is present in our neck part. Next question is which of the following is a flat bone? So here the question is which one is a flat bone? So sternum is a flat bone. So here option A will be the correct answer. So sternum is a flat bone which is present in the middle of your chest. Then there is the vertebrae. So basically vertebrae are the irregular bones. These are the type of irregular bones. Then there is humerus. Humerus are the long bones, and then there is patella, which is the sesamoid bones. Sesamoid bones are shaped like a sesamoid, which is, and this patella is present where in the knee part. Okay. Then there is another type like the short bones which are present in the wrist bones, that is carpals, tarsals, trapezoids. These are the short bones. So basically, why simply looking at the name like flat bones, and you have must have visited the bones skeleton on in your body. You must have read the skeleton part. Then you must be able to know these simpler types of bones. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which number of ribs are known as floating ribs? So in a ribs part, there are total 12 pairs of ribs. In 12 pair of ribs, there is true ribs, there is false ribs, and there is floating ribs. So what happens? So this is a sternum, and this is your skeleton or your ribs. So there is a cartilage in every rib here, which is joining these bones to the sternum. Okay. Then there are few number of bones which are directly, this is moving and this is this is attached with the cartilage to the sternum. There are some bones which are multiple in numbers, and these are joining with the same cartilage. Okay, so here in both sides, so this is the cartilage, and these three bones are attaching to the same cartilage with the sternum. Then there are a few other bones which are just a hanging bones, like they are not attaching to the sternum part. So these hanging bones are known as floating bones. Those bones which are directly attaching with the cartilage to the sternum, these are the true ribs, which are attaching with the single cartilage. Okay, so these this type of bones, these are the false ribs, and the hanging part is floating ribs. So now we need to find out the number, which number of bones are known as the floating ribs and true ribs. So basically the first five ribs are known as 1 to 5. These pair of ribs are known as the true ribs. Then the rest 7 out of 12, rest 7 are known as false ribs, and among these false ribs there are 11th and 12th number ribs which are known as floating ribs, because these are not attached directly or indirectly to the sternum part. So these are known as the floating ribs. So if anyone asks, so this is the 11th and 12th number ribs. If the question arises for true ribs, this is the 1 to 5. If question asks for the false ribs, the answer will be 7 to 12, or you can say 7 to 10 also, based on the options. Basically, if you can check in the book, so they will be saying like these 7 will be the false ribs. In some books they can say like these not 5 to 12, it is 6 to 12, because first 5 are the true ribs, then 6 to 12 are the false ribs, and or 6 to 10 this. So this is regarding the ribs. Now we can move to our next part. So here I have provided you the table which is from book Tortora. Okay, there is one book Tortora for the human not mean physiology. So here you can simply find out like what is the pattern of the bones in our skeleton. So our skeleton, there are total 206 bones. This question is also asked in several exams. So total number of bones you must know. Then there are total bones are divided into two parts, axial bones and the appendicular bones. Here you can simply see the colored portion, like this blue portion will be the axial skeleton, here the blue portion will be the appendicular skeleton. And how these bones are divided? So in axial part, there are total 80 bones that I have already discussed with you. So here in the skull part, there is 8 bones in the cranium, 14 in the facial. One is hyoid bone. Then there is some auditory ossicles which are 6 in number. Then there are vertebral columns which are 26 in numbers. Then there is thorax part which is the sternum part and 24 ribs. That is the, I have shown you 12 pairs of ribs, in which the first 5 are true ribs, the other 7 are the false ribs, including 2 11th and 12th pairs are floating ribs. So this is the bone distribution in axial skeleton. So if we can come to the appendicular skeleton, so there is one clavicle, two bones are clavicle on both the sides, two are scapula. Then in the upper limb there are two humerus, so we are talking about in both the arms. Then there is ulna and radius, which are making the former part of the bone. Then there is carpals. In each wrist there is 8 carpals. Then there are metacarpals, which are present in the hands, five for each fingers, which are in your palm of the hand. Then there are phalanges. Phalanges are basically the bones in your fingers. Then there is a pelvic girdle or hip part, in which there is hip, pelvic and coxal bone, which are 2 in number. Then there is lower limb, which is having the similar number of bones, like there is 2 femur bones, there are 2 patellas, 2 fibulas, 2 tibias, 14 tarsals. So basically the differences in your wrist, there are 8 carpals in every hand wrist. Okay, but tarsals which are present in your ankles, so there are only seven bones are in each ankle foot. So if someone asks like in which body part there are highest number of bones present, so that will be your hand, because there are more number of bones. One bone is more as compared to foot or any other part. Then there are metatarsal, again the main foot part, and phalanges, that is the finger parts of your foot. So that will make up the total 126 bones. So this you can read like where the bones are present, so that you can simply calculate if the question arises from the number of bones in different parts of the body. So this is regarding the simpler thing regarding the skeletal muscle. Now we can move to the next topic, that is the cardiovascular system. So in cardiovascular system, we can simply having the limited number of question. I will be providing you a simple diagram of the heart, in which the simpler flow of blood is being given. So let's start with the questions of cardiovascular system. So the first question is, the circulatory system includes. So the cardiovascular system is basically the circulatory system, and it includes the heart part, the blood vessels and blood. So these all comes under the circulatory system. So here option D is correct. And blood is also a connective tissue. If we talk about blood, it is a connective tissue. Then coming to next question. So the question is, how many chambers the heart of a mammal has? So number of chambers present in the heart are total 4 chambers. There are 2 atrias or 2 atriums, 2 ventricles. Which one? One is left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle and right ventricle. So these are the 4 main chambers of the heart. Then next question is, what is the covering of the heart known as? So the covering layer of heart is known as pericardium. So here option C is correct. Next question is, vein differs from heart in having. So what is the difference between vein and arteries? So basically there are different valves to control the direction of blood flow in both the veins and arteries. So this is the main difference in veins and arteries. So option D is correct. Next question is, SA node of mammalian heart is known as. So SA node is simply sinoatrial node, and it is also known as the pacemaker of the heart. So here option B is correct. Next question is, one of the simplest and fastest tests to evaluate the heart function is. So in order to evaluate the heart function, the fastest and simplest test is ECG. You must have known. So it is electrocardiogram. Sometimes the question is asked like the ECG is related to which body part. So it is related to heart. Then next question is, the left common carotid artery is a branch of. The left common carotid artery, it is a branch of arc of aorta. So here option C is correct. Next question is, love sound is produced during the closure of. So there is love dub sound in the heart, and the love sound which is produced in the heart is during the closure of atrioventricular valves. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, pulse pressure means. So the meaning of pulse pressure is the difference between the systolic and diastolic pressure. So here option C will be the correct answer. So the blood pressure is 120 by 80 mmHg, where 120 is describing the systolic pressure, 80 is describing the diastolic pressure. Next question is, Purkinje fibers are present in. So Purkinje fibers are simply present in heart. So option C is correct. Next question is, the blood pressure is a pressure of blood to. So blood pressure is simply defined as a pressure of blood to the arteries. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, QRS complex indicates. So there is a ECG wave. So in this there is a QRS complex. So the QRS complex basically indicates the ventricular depolarization. So here option D will be the correct answer. Then next question is, which of the following part of the heart pumps deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary artery? So we need to find the part of the heart which simply pumps the deoxygenated blood to the pulmonary artery, and this part is right ventricle. So here option B is the correct answer. Next question is, formation of clot in coronary artery is termed as. So if there is a clot formation in the coronary artery, this condition is known as coronary thrombosis. So here option B will be the correct answer. If I'll talk about arrhythmia, so it is simply the irregular. It is simply the irregular heartbeat. And if I'll talk about myocardial ischemia, so myocardial ischemia is simply if our heart is not having the sufficient flow of blood. So basically inadequate inadequate flow of inadequate flow of blood to a part of the heart. So that is the myocardial ischemia. If I'll talk about the atherosclerosis, so atherosclerosis is simply we have blood vessels in our body. So if these blood vessels are become thick are becoming thick due to the deposition of fat including cholesterol, so that can make the blood vessels thick, and there will be no proper blood supply, blood flowing through the blood vessels. So that condition will be resulted as atherosclerosis. Now the next question is, in ECG the depolarization of atria is indicated by. So QRS complex we have seen, like QRS complex, the QRS complex, it indicates the ventricular depolarization. Ventricular depolarization. Here the question is again the similar kind but for a different wave. So it is the depolarization of atria. Depolarization of atria. So it is the P wave which is responsible for depolarization of atria. So these two things you need to know. P wave is depolarization of atria, and QRS, it is also the depolarization, but it is for the ventricular depolarization. Next question is, which is the best parameter for analysis of hypoxia, that is hypoxemic hypoxia. So this is a condition, hypoxia. It is, this word is used two times for the condition of hypoxemic hypoxia, and the best parameter for the analysis is arterial PO2, pulmonary oxygen. So here option A is correct. Next question is, in man cardiac cycle duration is. So in man the cardiac cycle duration is 0.8 seconds basically. So basically our heart beats 72 times in a minute, or you can say in 60 seconds. So for 1 second it will hurt for 60 divided by 72 times. So it is simply in 1 second it will hurt, the cycle will be 0.8 seconds. Next question है, what is the formula for cardiac output? So the formula for cardiac output is stroke volume into heart rate simply. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is, what is the opening between the right auricle and the right ventricle cord? So the opening between right auricle and right ventricle is called as tricuspid valve. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is, what is the location of sinoatrial node? So the location of sinoatrial node is right upper corner of the right atrium. So here option D will be the correct answer. Next question is, which of the following matches correctly? So here we need to find the correct matching of this. So here we have the first option, pulmonary artery. It carries a deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So basically the arteries are basically carrying the oxygenated blood, but pulmonary artery is an exception which carries the deoxygenated blood to the lungs. So here option A will be the correct answer. So it is the correctly matched. Then superior vena cava, it receives deoxygenated blood from the lower body. No, it receives the deoxygenated blood from the upper body. Inferior receive deoxygenated from the head and body. So it is from the lower body. Hepatic artery carries deoxygenated blood to the gut. So it is to the liver. So these three are the wrong statements. So option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, this is the reason why SA node acts as heart pacemaker. So why SA node sinoatrial node is known as heart pacemaker? So the reason behind this is it generates impulses at a high rate. That's why it is known as the heart pacemaker. So option D is correct. Next question is, which statement about second heart sound is incorrect? So the statement regarding second heart sound is incorrect. So it is occasionally split. It is true statement. It is due to the closure of semi-lunar valves. So the second heart sound, that is love and dub sound. So it is due to the closure of semi-lunar valve. This point you need to remember, because first for love sound we have already have a question regarding that. Then it indicates the commencement of diastole. So it is regarding the diastolic pressure. So this is also true. Then it has a longer duration than the first sound. So it has a shorter duration than first sound. So this one is the incorrect statement. So option D is correct. Next question is, a red color of blood is due to the presence of. So in blood, the red color is mainly due to the hemoglobin, which is basically responsible for carrying the oxygen throughout the body. So it basically a carrier or transporter for the oxygen. And the red color of blood is due to the hemoglobin only. Next question is, a rise in the carotid sinus pressure leads to. So if carotid sinus pressure increases, then that can lead to reflux bradycardia. Reflux bradycardia means there will be drop in the blood pressure. Next question is, the ventricular muscle accepts impulses directly from. So the ventricular muscle, it basically accepts impulses directly from the Purkinje fiber, Purkinje system. So option B is correct. Next question is, which of the following blood vessels bring oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart? So there are lungs and there is heart. So basically the blood vessels which bring oxygenated blood from the lungs, oxygenated blood means which is having oxygen and it is a pure form of blood. So this oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. So this blood vessel is known as pulmonary veins. So here option A is correct. This is also an exception because basically veins are carrying the deoxygenated blood, but the pulmonary vein will carry the oxygenated blood. Then coming to the next question. So the question is, which sequence describes the systemic circulation? So the sequence with systemic circulation is, first the blood will come to the left ventricle, then it will go to the aorta, then it will go to the arteries, then veins, and then capillaries. Or first the left ventricle, then aorta, then arteries, capillaries, and then veins. Or right ventricle, pulmonary trunk, arteries, capillaries, or veins. Or right ventricle, pulmonary trunk, or arteries, or veins, or capillaries. So here the correct sequence will be option number B. Like first it will come to the left ventricle, then it will go to the aorta, then it will go to the arteries, then it will go to the capillaries, and then at last it will go to the veins. So here option B will be the correct answer for this question. Next question is the chamber of human heart which has thickest wall is. So the chamber of human heart with thickest wall is left ventricle. So option A is correct. Next question is which of the following is correct definition for bradycardia? So the correct definition for bradycardia is decreased heart rate. Okay, so there is another term tachycardia which means increase heart rate, and bradycardia is decrease heart rate. So here we have 30 questions for cardiovascular system. So now you can see this particular diagram. You can also check this diagram in again the Tortora book. So basically they have given the oxygenated rich blood supply, the direction, the total 10 points from where to where the blood is moving. So first if you can see these are the areas where the oxygen rich blood means oxygenated blood is there. And the blue part is showing the oxygen poor blood means deoxygenated blood. So if you can see the numbering system here, so if you can find the first number, this one, so the first number is basically describing here this right atrium. This is a right atrium which is having the deoxygenated blood. This right atrium is having the deoxygenated blood. Then after the first point it will go to the this second point which is a right ventricle. And how this will go to the right ventricle? It will move through the tricuspid valve. This is a valve, this part is a valve, and the blood will come, this valve will open, and the direction of these valves are in such a way like the blood that is passed from the right atrium to the right ventricle, it will not pump back the blood. So the formation of these valves will be like this way. Then after going to the right ventricle, there is one valve, that is the pulmonary valve, which will take this blood to the pulmonary trunk and pulmonary arteries. Okay, so after the third point it will go to the fourth point, that is the pulmonary capillaries of left lung. Okay, so it will simply go to the pulmonary capillaries of the left lung, and blood loses carbon dioxide in the lungs. Blood basically loses carbon dioxide, that carbon dioxide we exhale, and it gains the oxygen, the gas which we inhale. Okay, the inhaled gas will be taken up by the blood, and the carbon dioxide will be released. Then after that there is pulmonary veins. The blood will go to the pulmonary veins, which is the fifth part. Like it will go in the capillaries and of the left lung, then it will again come back to the heart. Now the blood which is coming back to the heart is the oxygenated blood, and this oxygenated blood is carried out by the pulmonary vein, and in veins this is the exception which is carrying the oxygenated blood. Basically the veins are carrying the deoxygenated blood, but pulmonary vein is carrying the oxygenated blood. Same for the arteries. Arteries is basically carrying the oxygenated blood, but pulmonary artery will carry the deoxygenated blood. Okay, so then we can move further. So after fifth point, the blood will go to the left atrium. This is the left atrium upper part, the sixth one. So after left atrium it will move from the bicuspid valve. There is a bicuspid valve again here. So from bicuspid valve it will move to the left ventricle. Okay, so left ventricle, which is the thickest wall of the human heart. So After the left ventricle, it will move to the aortic valve. So there, here is a aortic valve, and through aortic valve, it will move to the aorta and systemic arteries. So basically, the blood will move from here, and this is the eighth point, which is the aorta and systemic arteries. So this blood will go to the aorta and systemic valve, and it will go to the capillaries of the head and upper limbs. Okay, now again the blood will move in the similar manner, and the blood will go to the 10th point. That is the 10th point is basically the vena cavas. Okay, so basically there are superior vena cavas and inferior vena cavas. So superior vena cavas are the upper one and inferior are the lower one. So from the upper body, from the heart, the blood will be carried from the superior vena cava, and from the lower body of from the lower body, the blood will be carried by the inferior vena cava. So all the deoxygenated blood will again come, and it will go to this inferior and superior vena cava, and again the cycle will go on like this. So this is the basic flow of the blood throughout the heart. So I have attached this diagram, and you can simply revisit this diagram, and you can have a basic understanding like from where the blood is coming, which valves are present there between these. Like the question can be asked like which valve is present between left atrium and left ventricle. So you must have to know like there is a bicuspid valve, or which is the valve present in right atrium or right ventricle. So this is a tricuspid valve. So these different small points you need to remember. Now this we have discussed regarding the cardiovascular system. Now we can move to the hemopoietic system, which is basically regarding the blood part. Okay, so here we have few questions, so we can discuss these. So the first question is, which of the following is a function of blood? So the function of blood is transportation, regulation, and protection. These all are the functions of blood. As I have already discussed, it is also a connective tissue. It is basically a connective tissue. So here option D, all of the above will be the correct answer. Next question is, the blood group known as the ABO system is based on the presence of what proteins on blood cells? So the blood group which is known as the ABO system, so simply asking like it is based on the presence of what kind of presence is on of what proteins on blood cells. So these are basically the antigens, like in the RBCs there are antigens, and in the plasma there are antibodies. Now coming to next question. So the question is, what is found in blood serum that is also in blood plasma? So in blood serum and blood plasma, what is present there? So basically in blood serum and blood plasma, plasma proteins are present in both these parts. So here option C is correct. So basically plasma proteins except fibrinogen, plasma proteins are present in plasma as well as in serum. So if I'll talk about the serum, what is serum? Serum is simply the plasma minus clotting factors. Like we have total 13 clotting factors. So serum is simply the plasma minus clotting factors, and blood cells and platelets are not present in plasma. What I have said, like blood cells and platelets, these are absent in plasma. So this is the basic difference between these. Now the next question is, which individual can receive any type of blood and are considered as universal recipient? So the individual which can receive any type of blood are known as universal recipient, and these universal recipient are blood group AB positive. So here option C will be the correct answer. Like there are different blood groups like A positive, A negative, B positive, B negative, AB positive, AB negative, O positive, O negative. So the AB positive one will receive the blood from these all different blood groups, and O negative will give blood to any of them. Next question is, which is the most abundant plasma protein? So the most abundant plasma protein is albumin. So here option B is correct. So it is basically present in around 58% plasma proteins are albumins, and hemoglobin is also a protein basically, but it is contained within the RBC. So the most abundant will be the albumin only. Then next question is, what are the red blood cells primarily composed of? So the red blood cells are primarily composed of hemoglobin. So here option D is correct. So around one third of the RBC is hemoglobin. One third are hemoglobin, and the alpha and beta globulins, albumins, these are the plasma proteins, and they are not in present in the RBCs. Next question is, which is the least common type of white blood cell? Least common type of white blood cell is basophil. So here option B is correct. So less than 1% of WBC are less than 1% of WBC are basophils. Neutrophils are the most common type, and basically the thrombocytes, these are not WBC, and these are not even the cells. Then coming to next question, the question is, in hemostasis, which molecule polymerizes to become the insoluble blood clot? If you can see the proper blood clotting process, so the molecule which polymerizes to become insoluble clot is fibrin. So here option C is correct. So basically, what is fibrin? Fibrin is basically a monomer which polymerizes to form a soft clot. It will form a soft clot. Then the cross linking between the fibrin will produce a stable web-like hard clot. So this is the basic process in this. Then the next question is, which enzyme converts fibrinogen to fibrin? So the enzyme that converts fibrinogen to fibrin is thrombin. So here option B is correct. So basically thrombin, it is not present in prothrombinase, and it basically converts the prothrombin to thrombin. Next question is, which one of the following is not a plasma protein? So keratin is not a plasma protein. It is a protein that the stratum corneum of the skin has, and that hair and nails are made of. So here option A is correct. In blood clotting, what activates factor 10? So in blood clotting process, there are total 13 factors, blood clotting factors, and there is factor 10, which is a Stewart factor, and uh, the factor 10 is activated in the extrinsic pathway. So here option C is correct. So basically what happens, so the factor 10 is a plasma protein. It is basically a plasma protein, and it is produced in the liver. So in the intrinsic pathway, what happens, like the factor 3, there is another factor 3. This factor 3 will combine with factor number 7, and it will form an enzyme complex. That enzyme complex will activate the factor number 10. So this is the basic process in the activation of factor number 10. So I have also included the categorization of all the factors, the different names, like what are their functions. So that table I have already added in this particular section. So we can discuss that later after we will finish the MCQs. Then we can move to the next question. So what is the major task of the red blood cells? So the major task of red blood cells is to transport oxygen. So here option D is correct. And as I have discussed with you, like in RBCs, there is hemoglobin present, which carries the oxygen and transport it to the different tissues of the body. Next question is, which cell in the list below is the most common white blood cell? The most common white blood cell is neutrophils, which is also called as polymorphonuclear leukocytes. It is also known as polymorphonuclear leukocytes, and they are basically constitute around 50 to 70% of WBCs. So these are the most commonest, and basophils are the least common. Then coming to next question. So the question is, which of the following part is the largest of the lymphatic organ? So the largest part of the lymphatic organ is spleen. So here option C is correct. Next question is, lymphocytes are of two types. They are, so lymphocytes basically are of two types, T cells and B cells. So here option D is correct. Next question is, which one of the following lymphocytes produce antibodies? So the lymphocytes which produce antibodies are the B cells. So option A is correct. Basically, the B cells are used to produce antibodies that are used to attack the invading bacteria, viruses, or fungi. Then there are T cells. T cells are a type of WBCs which are called lymphocytes, and they are two main types. They are of two main types. One is, they are of two types. One is the cytotoxic. One is cytotoxic T cells which destroy the infected cells, and then there are helper T cells. There are helper T cells which send the signals. They simply send the signals that direct other immune cells to fight against infection. So these are the main two different types of T cells and the function of B cells. Then the question is, an important site of fetus blood cell production is. So fetus cell blood production site is spleen. So here option C is correct. So basically in adults, the blood cells are produced in the bone marrow. Blood cells are produced in the bone marrow and released into the blood, and then they goes to the blood. What happens, the blood cell production occurs in the yolk sac. It occurs in the yolk sac, liver and spleen. Three parts: yolk sac, liver and spleen, and eventually in bone marrow. So this is the main thing, like the important site of fetus blood cell production is spleen. Next question is, lymph is colorless because. So the lymph is colorless because there is no RBC is present, or we can say hemoglobin is absent. So we can say like these both can be an option for the correct answer. Like specifically in RBC, the color is due to the hemoglobin. So most importantly, the first choice will be the hemoglobin, then the second will be the RBC. If it is not present, then we can say like if RBCs are present, that means ultimately hemoglobin is absent there. So that's why you can choose first option as a hemoglobin. If both are there, then you can choose the both. Next question is, which of the following is not a secondary lymphoid organ? So which is not a secondary lymphoid organs? So basically lymphoid organs are two types. So there are primary lymphoid organs, there are secondary lymphoid organs. In primary lymphoid organs, there is bone marrow. It includes bone marrow and it includes thymus. While in secondary lymphoid organs, there can be lymph nodes, spleen, Peyer's patches, and mucosal tissues. So these different things are there in the secondary lymphoid organs. So here if we can see like the question is asked regarding not a secondary lymphoid organs. So the first we can see there is thymus. Thymus is simply a primary lymphoid organs along with the bone marrow. Spleen is secondary lymphoid organ. Peyer's patches is a secondary, and mesenteric lymph node, these are also the secondary lymphoid organs. So here option A will be the correct answer. Now after that we can I have provided you some few important points that are very important for this particular topic. So first point is, mature RBCs have no nucleus. So the question can be asked like, which cells do not have the nucleus. So you can say like mature RBCs have no nucleus. Then red blood cells live only about 120 days. The lifespan of red blood cells is 120 days. Then next point is in muscle fibers, liver cells and macrophages of the spleen and liver. Fe3 positive detaches from the transferrin and attaches to an iron storage protein called ferritin. So ferritin is the iron storage protein, means the iron is stored in the form of ferritin. This can be asked. Then moving to next point. So the next point is white blood cells, that are WBCs or leukocytes, have nuclei and full complement of other organelles, but they do not contain hemoglobin. So in white blood cells we have nucleus, and they are full complement to other organelles, but they do not contain hemoglobin. So if question is asked like which blood cells do not have hemoglobin, that will be RBC, WBCs. RBCs have hemoglobin. The next point is white blood cells, leukocytes, most live for a few hours to few days. Okay, so the lifespan is only few hours to few days. But some lymphocytes, for example T and B memory cells, they can live for many years once they are established. Like for if it is a B memory cells, so it can stay, or it can stay for many years also. Then next point is regarding the platelets. So platelets basically live for only 5 to 9 days. So this is the important few points. Now I have provided few tables for you to have a better understanding regarding the blood grouping and the basic antigens, antibodies present. So this is the summary of ABO blood group interaction. You can find this table in the book Tortora again. If you have the PDF of the Tortora, you can simply open the book. You can simply check this table 19.6, and you will find the same table. Also, I have provided this table in this particular PDF also. So here we have four main types of blood groups: A blood group, B blood group, AB blood group, and O blood group. So basically there are antigens and antibodies present in our blood. So antigens are present in the RBCs and antibodies are present in the plasma. These two important points are important, so that you need to remember. So whatever blood group is named, that blood group is having the antigens. Okay, simply. And only antigens A and B are there. So basically what happens, like in antigen, if blood group is A, then the antigen is A. Blood group is B, then antigen is B. Blood group is AB, then antigen both A and B are there. If blood group is O, then there is no antigen. Okay, so the question can be asked like in which blood group there is no antigen, or in which blood group there is no antibody. So if you can see here, there is no antibody in AB blood type, and there is no antigen in the AB blood group, in the O blood group. So this you can see. Then the antibody, the opposite antibody, if it is A, then the antibody will be B. If the blood group is B, then the antibody will be A. So that you can observe here. Like if the antigen is A, then there will be antibody B. So if I will be giving the blood group B, okay, the blood B to a person A, then this blood group will go in this body. There is antigen A in this blood, and there is antibody B here in the person already. Okay, so when this blood is infused to this person A, then this antibody B will attack the antigen B present in the blood group B, and it will destroy the blood. Okay, so that will be harmful. So like that way we can see like how we can check which blood group is compatible to give, or to receive, or to donate the blood. So by these antigens and antibodies you will be able to know like which blood group you can donate and which blood group you can receive. So simply we can check the other ones, like for AB it is simply fine. For blood group A, B both, in which both antigens are present, there will be no antibodies. And for blood group O, there is no antigen, so there will be both the antibodies. Okay, so this is blood group O is a universal donor. So you can give the blood group to the any of the other blood group, and this is having the neither anti A or nor anti B. So there is no antibody, so this can receive blood from any other person. Then we can check like what is the compatible donor. So compatible donor, if the person is having blood group A, so he can donate blood to the only blood group A person. For example, if it gives blood to the A, so it is a similar thing. There is no change. So person with blood group O, he can also donate the blood to a person with blood group A because it is not having any uh, antigens and it is having both the antibodies. Then also for blood group B, the universal compatible donors are with blood group O and blood group B. Same for blood group AB, it is a universal recipient, so it can receive blood from any of the blood groups, and similar for the blood group O, it is a universal donor, so it can give blood to the any of the other blood group person. So in blood group donor also, the O negative will be the blood group donor group, and AB positive will be the uh, recipient, universal recipient. So what does this positive and negative means? So this is the RH factor. This represents the RH factor, which is a rhesus factor. So this factor was firstly seen in the rhesus monkey. That's why it is named as a rhesus factor. So from this table, you can simply find which is the donor, which is the acceptor, and you can able to find the answer like if a situation kind of thing will be asked in the question. Now we can come to the next table, which is regarding the clotting factors. So there are total 13 clotting factors. You must have to know the name of the clotting factors. So the first one is fibrinogen, which the source is liver, and pathways are common like intrinsic and extrinsic both. So this you can check. Mostly you need to know the names of the clotting factors. The second one is prothrombin. Third one is tissue factor, that is thromboplastin. Fourth one is calcium ions. Fifth one is proacceleratin or levile factor, or you can say the accelerator globulin. Then the sixth factor is has been removed, and the seventh factor, that is the serum prothrombin conversion accelerator, or simply you can say stable factor or pro-convertin. Then there is factor number 8, which is known as anti-hemophilic factor A. Factor 9 is anti-hemophilic factor B, also known as Christmas factor or plasma thromboplastin component. Factor number 10 is Stewart factor, Prover factor or thrombokinase. Factor 11 is again anti-hemophilic factor, what it is, C, or it is also known as plasma thromboplastin antecedent. Then the factor number 12 is Hageman factor, which is also known as glass factor or contact factor, and it is the anti-hemophilic factor D. So there are total 4 anti-hemophilic factors, the factor 8, factor 9, 11 and 12. 8 1 is A, 9 is B, 11 is C and 12 is D. Then there is factor number 13, which is a fibrin stabilizing factor. So these are the total 13 factors. So the factor number 6 has been removed. So that is the thing. So these are the different clotting factors. You have to remember the names of these factors. Also, there is a vitamin K role in the blood clotting factor synthesis. So vitamin K is involved in the synthesis of 4 clotting factors. That is factor number 2, that is factor number 7, that is factor number 9 and the factor number 10. So these 4 are the blood clotting factors that is synthesized by the vitamin K. So this point is also very important. Now we can move to the simple composition of the blood. So this you can check on your own. I'll simply brief, like there is in a body weight, there is total whole blood is constitutes of 8% blood, and other body fluids and tissues will be comprising the 92% of the body weight. This whole blood, that is the 8% of body weight, it comprises of blood plasma and the formed elements. The blood plasma is around 55%. The formed elements are around 45%. And these formed elements are basically the red blood cells, white blood cells, or the platelets. Numbers you can remember from here, because the numbers are very important. So for red blood cells, it is 4.8 to 5.4 millions number per microliter. White blood cell, it is 5,000 to 10,000, and in platelets it is 1.5 lakh to 4 lakhs. Again, for white blood cells there is a distribution, like neutrophils are around 60 to 70%, lymphocytes are 20 to 25%, monocytes 3 to 8%, eosinophils are 2 to 4%, and basophils are 0.5 to 1%. This is the composition of white blood cells. Then if we can move to the blood plasma, there is a composition with proteins, water, and other solutes are present in blood plasma. If I'll simply talk about the proteins, which is having 7% of the blood plasma. So these proteins are albumins, globulins, fibrinogen, and others. So albumin is the most abundantly present in the blood plasma. So this question I have already put it in the MCQs. And in other solutes, there can be electrolytes, nutrients, gases, regulatory substances, or waste products. So this is the basic composition. You can, if you remember this particular diagram only, you will be able to remember many of the questions. So by this particular diagram, we are done with the haemopoietic system. Now we can move to the respiratory system. Then next topic will be the respiratory system. So let's start with the first question in respiratory system. So the question is, which respiratory organ is not a part of the lower respiratory system? So there are two parts. We can divide respiratory system in two parts, like the lower respiratory system and upper respiratory system. So in upper respiratory system, we will be having the nose, pharynx. We will be having the nose, pharynx, and larynx. Okay, so for these comes under the upper respiratory tract part. And if I'll talk about the lower respiratory tract part, so in lower respiratory tract part, we will be having our voice box, which is known as larynx. So this point you can remember, like voice box is larynx. Then there is windpipe, which is the trachea. So this point, this name is also you can remember, like the question can be arise like, what is known as voice box? So larynx is the voice box. What is windpipe is the trachea. Then there are lungs are in the lower respiratory tract. Then there are airways. In airways we have bronchi and bronchioles. And then there are air sacs, which are alveoli. So these other names, you have to remember these other names. So the question is, which is not a part of lower respiratory system? So alveoli, trachea, pharynx, bronchi. So bronchi we have seen in the upper respiratory tract. So option C is correct. Next question is, which of the following gas is released out during the process of respiration? So the gas which is released out during the process of respiration is carbon dioxide, and we inhale the oxygen gas. Next question is, which of the following provides the greatest surface area for gaseous exchange? So the greatest surface area for gaseous exchange is provided by the alveoli. So option B is correct. Next question is, which part of the pharynx above the level of soft palate is called? So the part of the pharynx above the level of soft palate is known as nasopharynx. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, which of the following are parts of the human respiratory system? So the parts of human respiratory system includes trachea, diaphragm, lungs. These all comes under the parts of respiratory system. So here option D, all of the above will be the correct answer. The next question is, the external nose have two openings called. So our external nose have two openings which are known as nostrils. So option A is correct. Next question is, the inner layer of pleura is called as. So the inner layer of pleura, it is known as visceral layer. So here option B is correct. Next question is, bronchi branch into the tubes of smaller diameter less than 1 mm known as. So those bronchi which having branch into the tubes with smaller diameter of less than 1 mm, these are known as bronchioles. So here option B is correct. Next question is, which of the following is the normal weight of the right lung in an adult? So the normal weight of right lung in an adult is around 625 grams. So here option D is correct. Next question is, the total number of alveoli present in the human lungs is estimated to be around. So the number of alveoli, these are around 800 million in number. So option B is correct. Next question is, the gaseous exchange in alveoli is a type of. So through which process the gases will exchange in the alveoli? So these will exchange through the simple diffusion process. So here option A is correct. Next question is, respiratory organ known as voice box. So voice box is larynx. So this we have already discussed. So option B is correct. Next question is, the exchange of gases between the lungs and the cell is known as. So between the lungs and cell, the gases exchange is known as internal respiration or cellular respiration. So here option D, both A and C is correct. Next question is, carbon dioxide is transported in the blood. So how the carbon dioxide gas is transported in the blood? So it is transported in the blood as a dissolved form, as bicarbonate 63%, as carbonic acid negligible. So here percentage we need to find. So option D, all of the above is correct. So in dissolved form also it is transported, in bicarbonate form, in carbonic acid form. These all forms this is transported. Next question is, which of the following is a function of the trachea? So the main function of trachea is to filter the air we breathe. Whatever air we are breathing, inhaling, so the filtration of that air will be done by the trachea. Next question is, the maximum volume of air contained in the lung via a full forced inhalation is called. So when we inhale the maximum amount of air that we can inhale via a full enforced inhalation, that is known as our total lung capacity. So here option D is correct. Next question is, vital capacity of lung is. So vital capacity of lung is known as TB plus IRB plus ERB. That is, TB means it is tidal volume. It is tidal volume. IRB is inspiratory reserve volume. Inspiratory reserve volume. And the ERV is expiratory expiratory reserve volume. So these are basically the full forms. So vital capacity of lung is the sum of tidal volume, inspiratory reserve volume, and expiratory reserve volume. And if I'll talk about simply the total lung capacity, so uh, it is the sum of vital capacity and residual residual volume. It is for total lung capacity. Then moving to the next question, the question is which of the following statements is true about involuntary breathing? So the true statement regarding involuntary breathing is that it is controlled by the neurons located in the medulla and pons. So here option D will be the correct answer. Next question is shape of trachea is, so the shape of trachea is like C shaped. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is dash is located between two pleural sacs and is the central compartment of the thoracic cavity. So which of these structures are located between the pleural sacs and the central compartment of the thoracic cavity? So these are the mediastinum. So option C is correct. Next question is which of the following functions by filtering and keeping the mucus and dirt away from our lungs? So this is the function of cilia, which simply filter and keep the mucus and dirt away from our lungs. Next question is which one of the following is correct regarding larynx? So we need to find the correct statement regarding larynx. So it houses the vocal cords. This is correct. It prevents the invading pathogens into the trachea. So the invasion of the pathogens is prevented by trachea. It is also correct. Then it is an organ made of cartilage and connects the pharynx to the trachea. So it is simply made of cartilage and it connects the pharynx to the trachea. So this statement is also correct regarding larynx. So here option D, all of the above is correct. Then next question is which of the following is a chronic respiratory disorder caused by smoking? So the chronic respiratory disorder which is caused by smoking is emphysema. So here option B will be the correct answer. So it is mainly caused due to the cigarette smoking. If I'll talk about the asthma, so asthma is a chronic, it is a chronic lung disease, and it is basically caused by inflammation and muscle tightening around the airways. So through this, we will be not able to breathe easily, and it will makes the breathing harder. Then there is respiratory alkalosis. So respiratory alkalosis is basically due to overbreathing. It is due to overbreathing called hyperventilation. It is known as hyperventilation, which is respiratory alkalosis. Then next is respiratory acidosis. Respiratory acidosis is simply a condition that occurs when lungs cannot remove all the carbon dioxide produced by the body. Okay, lungs are not able to remove the carbon dioxide out of the body. So that condition is known as respiratory acidosis. Now coming to next question. So the question is which of the following controls the normal breathing process? So the normal breathing process is controlled by the dorsal respiratory group. So here option D will be the correct answer. Next question is in humans, taking in of the air through nostrils into the nasal cavity is called. So in humans, the simply taking air into our body is inhalation, and expelling out of the air is exhalation. Next question is the lung capacity can we determine using? So we can determine the lung capacity by using spirometer. So here option D is correct. Next question is the very small functional units of the lungs is, so the very small functional units of lungs is alveoli. So option D is correct. Next question is residual air mostly occurs in, so the residual air is mostly occurs in alveoli. So here option A is correct. Then next question is volume of air that will remain in the lungs after normal expiration is. So when we breathe air and we uh, inhale exhale process is continuously going on. But when we normally expire or exhale, then still there will be some volume of air that will remain in the lungs. That remained air is known as functional residual capacity. So here option B will be the correct answer. Then there are several other like vital capacity. We have already discussed, like this is the maximum quantity of air that can be moved into and out of the lungs. Okay. Then there is expiratory reserve volume. So expiratory reserve volume is simply the quantity of air that can be forcefully expired after normal tidal expiration. Then there are several other terms like the inspiratory capacity or inspiratory reserve volume. So it is the quantity of air that can be forcefully inspired or inhaled after normal tidal inspiration. So these are the different things. Then there is one term like tidal volume. What is tidal volume? The tidal volume is simply the quantity of air that can be moved into and out of the lungs during a normal breath. So that is the tidal volume. Then if I'll talk about the simple residual volume. So residual volume is simply the quantity of air remaining in the lungs after a maximal expiration. So these are the few of the definitions. So now we can move to the next question. So the question is the exchange of gases between the external environment and the lungs is. So the gases exchange between external environment and lungs is known as external respiration. So here option B will be the correct answer. And with this question only, we are completing our this topic, which is the respiratory system. Now we can move to the next topic, that is the urinary system. Okay, so in urinary system we also have a few questions, and then we can move to the muscular system. So in this particular topic we can start with the first question, that is which of the following is not included in the excretory system of human. So in excretory system of humans we have several parts. So basically we have a pair of kidneys, we have one pair of ureter, we have a pair of ureters, we have a urinary bladder, and we have urethra. Okay, so here pancreas does not come under excretory system of human. So here option A will be the correct answer. Then next question is which of the following is the first step towards urinary formation? So in urinary formation, basically there are three different steps. First step is glomerular filtration. Then after glomerular filtration there is a reabsorption, and after reabsorption the third step is secretion. So these are the three main steps. So the first step is asked. So the first step is glomerular filtration. So option A is correct. Next question is which of the following is the correct sequence in which urine flows through the kidney towards the urinary bladder. So simply we need to find out the correct sequence of the urine flow. So the first step will be the papillary duct. Then comes with the minor calyx, then the major calyx, then renal pelvis, and then the ureters. So first if we can see, like before that there is neuron, then after neuron the pathway of urine drainage collecting duct, then it goes to the papillary duct, in the renal pyramid, then after papillary duct it will go to the minor calyx, then minor it will go to the major calyx, then from the major calyx it will go to the renal pelvis, and then it went to the ureters. So basically these works these different steps are performed in the kidney only. And if I'll say after ureter, it will go to the urinary bladder. So here option B will be the correct answer, and now we can move to the next question. So the question is, the trigone is an area located within the, so trigone area is located in the urinary bladder. So here option B is correct. Then next question is, the total number of orifices for outgoing and incoming of urine through the bladder is, so total number of orifices are total in 3. For outgoing and incoming, they are asking for both. So there are 3 openings. One is for outlet and 2 are for incoming. Next question is, which of the following is not a function of kidney? So the function of kidney, so regulation of blood pH, this is a function of kidney. Removal of metabolic waste from the body, this is absolutely a function of kidney. Production of antibodies, this is not the function of kidney, this is the function of immune system. Then the regulation of osmotic pressure in the blood, so this is also a function of kidney. So here option C is not a function of kidney, so is the right answer. Next question is, normal glomerular filtration rate in adults is, so the normal glomerular filtration rate in adult is around 125 ml per minute. So option D is the correct answer. And this glomerular filtration rate, that is GFR, and it has different rates at different for different age groups. So normally it is 125 to 125 ml per minute. What if the person is at initial ages like 3 to 4 years or 5 to 6 years, then it will be lesser than this value. Next question is, which of the following structure encloses glomerulus? So the function which encloses glomerulus is women's capsule. So here option A is the correct answer. Next question is, when the infection invades the urinary bladder, it is called, so whenever an infection is entering into the urinary bladder, this infection is known as cystitis. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, the micturition reflex center is located in the, so the micturition reflex center, it is located in the sacral segment of the spinal cord. Where it is located? It is located on the spinal cord, and on the spinal cord it is located on the sacral segment part. Next question is, the tuft of capillaries in the renal corpuscles is called, so in the renal corpuscles, the tuft of capillaries is known as glomerulus. So option B is correct. Next question is, which of the following is not a process of urine formation? So the process of urine formation, we have seen like 3 steps: glomerular filtration, reabsorption, secretion. What excretion is not basically a part of urine formation? So through this process, the urine is removing from the body. Next question is, what is reabsorption? So the reabsorption means the absorption of the filtrate by the renal tubules. So basically, whatever kidney is sending it to for reabsorption, most of the things are reabsorbed from the renal tubules, and the important things will be reconsumed, and the rest waste material will be excreted out. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, the condition where urea accumulates in blood is, so if there is an accumulation of urea in the blood, this condition is known as uremia. So here option C is correct. Next question is, what is glycosuria? So glycosuria is simply a condition in which there is a excess amount of sugar present in the urine. That is high amount of sugar in urine. That condition is known as glycosuria, and this condition is associated with diabetes. This condition is associated with diabetes and kidney disease. Then next question is, which of the following is the term given to the condition of RBCs in urine? So the term given to the condition of RBCs in urine is hematuria. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is Faucher's test is used for detection of dash in the urine. So basically Faucher's test is used for the detection of vile salts and vile pigments in the urine. So option B will be the correct answer. Basically in if I'll talk about the Faucher's reagent, then this Faucher reagent is basically 1% ferric chloride in 25% trichloroacetic acid. What is trichloroacetic acid? And in this particular test, we will be having barium chloride. We will take barium chloride plus we can take acidified urine plus we can take Faucher's reagent. Then after mixing these, there will be greenish colored formed, or we can say blue greenish precipitate will be formed. So that means there is a presence of vile pigments or vile salts. Then next question is which of the following is the end product of hemoglobin degradation? So the end product of hemoglobin degradation is bilirubin. So here option A will be the correct answer. If I'll talk about the creatinine, so creatinine is the end product of muscle metabolism. Muscle metabolism or metabolism in muscle. If I'll talk about uric acid, so it is simply the end product of nucleic acid metabolism. Nucleic acid metabolism. Then there is a urea, which is the end product of amino acid metabolism. Then next question is which of the following leads to the secretion of aldosterone from the adrenal cortex? So there is enzyme renin which leads to the secretion of aldosterone from the adrenal cortex. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is volume of urine is regulated by. So the urine volume is regulated by the aldosterone and antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH. So here option D will be the correct answer. Next question is the loop of Henle exists between the. So there are different parts in the urinary system, in the basically the kidney part. So there is a loop of Henle which is exists between the proximal convoluted tubule and distal convoluted tubule. So here option C will be the correct answer. The next question is the urinary bladder has opening to the. So basically urinary bladder has opening to the urethra and ureters. So here option B will be the correct answer. Next question is the term micturition refers to. So micturition is a term in which the person is unable to control its urine and the urine will expel out. So it is the process of urine expulsion. So here option C will be the correct answer. Next question is what volume of glomerular filtrate do adults make every day? So you need to read this question very carefully because this is a quite confusing question, because the volume of glomerular filtrate do adults make every day is around 180 liters. So this is not a volume like the person is uh, excreting out the urine. So it is the volume that glomerular filtrate makes every day. Means there will be mostly around 99% will be reabsorbed and only 1% will be excreted. So there you can see like whenever it will go from the glomerular filtrates, it will go to for the reabsorption. There it will be again reabsorbed, then that will be circulated throughout the day. So this volume will be 180 liters, and the excretion amount of urine is quite less. It is in liters, in a quite liters. Next question is reabsorb solutes and water from the filtrate. So the reabsorption of solutes and water from the filtrate is done by the collecting ducts. So here option B will be the correct answer. Next question is the functional unit of the kidney is called. So the functional unit of kidney is known as nephron. So here option B will be the correct answer. Next question is, which factor is most important in pushing urine from ureter towards the bladder? So the factor which is most important in pushing the urine from ureter towards the bladder is peristaltic contraction. So here option B will be the correct answer. Next question is, the kidneys are located at the, so basically kidneys are located at the posterior abdominal wall. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, when the infection is localized in the urethra, it is called. So if the infection is localized in the urethra, it is known as urethritis. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, an organ or structure that is not a component of the urinary system is the. So urethra, urinary bladder, ureter, these are the components. What adrenal glands, it is not the components of the urinary system. So here option D will be the correct answer. And with this question, we are done with the urinary system part. So now we can move to our last topic of today's video, that is the muscular system. So let's start with the first question in muscular system. So the first question is, which muscle naming criteria are used to name the quadriceps femoris? So quadriceps femoris is a muscle, and for this particular muscle, the naming criteria used is location and number of origin. So here option D will be the correct answer. So basically what happens, this femoris muscle refers to the location of femur. It refers to the location of femur, and quadriceps refers to four different origins. Okay, so this means it is regarding the location and number of origins. Next question is, why what name is the plasma membrane of the muscle cell known as? Okay, so we need to name the plasma membrane of the muscle cell. This I think we have already discussed in skeletal system part. So this one is sarcolemma. So here option D will be the correct answer. So here simply the sarco refers to the muscle. Sarco refers to the muscle, and lemma means to the sheath or membrane around the cell. Next question is, smooth muscle is different from skeletal muscle because smooth muscle. So what is the difference between smooth muscle and skeletal muscles? So basically the smooth muscles are occurs in the walls of the tubes. They occurs in the walls of the tubes. Whereas skeletal muscles does not occur in the walls of the tubes. So here the correct answer will be option number A, that is it is found in the walls of the arteries. So here option A will be the correct answer. Next question is, which of the following muscles is named according to its origin and insertion? So the muscle which is named according to its origin and insertion is sternocleidomastoid. So here option C will be the correct answer. So basically the origin, if I'll talk about the origin of this muscle, the origin is on the sternum part. It is on the sternum part and clavicle part and clavicle, while the insertion is to the mastoid process of the temporal bone. Temporal bone. On the mastoid process of the temporal bone. So in this particular chapter, like muscular system, you need to remember the name of the muscle, like from which criteria is used to name that muscle. So mostly these things are there in the muscular system. Then moving to next question. So question is, which of the following muscle cell structure is the longest? So the longest muscle cell structure is myofibril. So here option B will be the correct answer. So a muscle is a bundle of myofibrils. So basically we can say a muscle cell is a bundle of myofibrils, and these myofibrils contains many sarcomeres joined from end to end. Within these sarcomeres, there we can found a thick and thin Myofilaments. Okay, so this is the basic structure here, and the longest they have asked for, that is the myofibrils. Then next question is, which of the muscle listed below is named according to its action? So the muscle named according to its action is adductor longus. So here option A will be the correct answer. So here adduction, adduction, adduction is the action of bringing an adducted bone back towards the body's midline. Okay, so this is basically the action. The muscle is named according to its action. Next question is, which of the following is the smallest structure within the muscle fiber? So the smallest structure within the muscle fiber is myosin. So here option A will be the correct answer. So myosin, this we have also discussed. So this is a molecule that makes the thick, that makes a thick myofilaments, and many thick and thin myofilaments will make the sarcomere, and these many sarcomeres joined up end to end to form a myofibrils. So these things you need to remember. Next question is, what is sarcomere? So this we have already discussed. This is a section of myofilament. So option C is correct. Next question is, which protein are formed in the thin myofilaments? So the protein which is found in thin myofilament is actin, tropomyosin and troponin. So here option C will be the correct answer. So here actin is the major component. Actin is a major component in thin filament, and tropomyosin is the cover the binding site. It is basically used for the covering the binding site, while troponin is basically providing the mechanism. It simply provides the mechanism for removing this tropomyosin from the binding site. So these are the different proteins present on the myofilaments. Next question is, which of the following muscle is a common intramuscular injection site? So the muscle which is common for the intramuscular injection site is deltoid muscle. So here option A will be the correct answer. And also there is gluteus muscle, gluteus medius muscle, which is used for intramuscular injections to avoid the sciatic nerve. So these are the main muscle sites for intramuscular injection. Next question is, which of the following muscle is not named after its location in the body? So here they have asked like not named. So deltoid is not named because deltoid is named as because of its shape, which is simply taken from a Greek letter which means a triangle. Then next question is, what structures attach a muscle to a bone? So the structure that attach muscle to a bone is tendons, and those attach bone to bone is ligaments. Next question is, which of the following is the smallest unit in a muscle? So the smallest unit in a muscle is myosin. So here option B will be the correct answer. So myosin, we have already discussed. It is a simply a molecule which combine to make a thick myofibril. Next question is, which of the following muscle causes the wrist to bend? So the muscle which helps for the movement of a wrist is extensor carpi ulnaris. So here option B will be the correct answer. Here the term carpi refers to the carpal bone. It refers to the carpal bone, which and in wrist we have 8 carpal bones. So this muscle extends the wrist. Next question is, which of the following muscles increases the angle between the bone of the fingers and hand? So the muscles which increases the angle between the bones of the fingers and hand are extensor digitorum. So here option A will be the correct answer. Basically, the extensor refers to the action of extension. It refers to the action of the extension, means increasing the angle between the hand and fingers, while the digitorum, it simply refers to the digits like fingers. Then the next question is, the space between ribs is filled with. So the space between ribs is filled with the intercostal muscle. So here option A will be the correct answer. So here the costal or costa means rib, and intercostal means between the ribs. So with this question, we are end up with this muscular system part also, and we have covered a total of 6 topics. Next 6 topics will be covered in the next video that will be coming tomorrow. And please share these videos with your friends, whosoever is preparing for this exam, so that they will also get some benefit. So actually, I have added very limited questions in these series from each topic, because as you can see, like from each and every page of the book, you will be able to make uh, many questions. Like from human anatomy also, there can be a thousands of questions that can be made, but I have added only important question, provided you the relevant information from those questions. So hopefully that will benefit you in your exam. And also there are 12 topics mentioned in your syllabus from human anatomy and physiology, and only the possibilities of 8 questions. So many topics can be skipped, will be skipped by the examination agency also. So you have to prepare in that way only. So that's all for this video. We can meet in the next video. Till then, thank you very much for listening.